The places connected with Madonna's Greek holiday form a perfect map of something that has been running through her career for more than 40 years: religion, mysticism, sex and spirituality, death and rebirth, and now even Orthodox Christianity. From Corfu to Patmos and Meteora, Madonna has been moving around Greece, and the religious significance of those places is hard to ignore. So let's follow her. Welcome to Not Another Greek History Podcast, the podcast that aims to be exactly what it says. I'm your host, Onoufios Dovlepis. Madonna chose Corfu as the base for her 68th birthday celebrations. She was there with her family, friends, and boyfriend, Hakeem Morris, and her birthday caption was almost a miniature Madonna manifesto. Eat, pray, love, drink, dance, braid plates, feed cats, and then thank you, God. Founded around 735 BC by Corinthian colonists, Corinth is a city which is below Athens, very close to Athens. The ancient city of Korkyra, and not Corfu, Korkyra, grew wealthy and quite quarrelsome, I would say, enough that its dispute with Corinth, the mother city, and that would be the word metropolis in Greek, it helped trigger the Peloponnesian War in the 5th century BC. That was what practically caused the fall of Athens itself. Then Rome conquered the island around 230 BC. Fast forward, the medieval occupations began in 1267 when Charles of Anjou, King of Sicily, gained control of Corfu and tried to force Orthodox Christians to convert to Catholicism. The second extended period of Venetian occupation lasted almost 412 years until 1797, when it was occupied by the French, by Napoleon. Crucially, Corfu was the one major Greek territory island the Turks never conquered, despite some major sieges in the 15 and 1700s. We have a second French occupation for 7 years only, up to 1814, after which the British take it over until 1864, which means the island didn't take part in the Greek Revolution and was only actually just given to Greece in 1864. Then we have the final occupation, which comes in World War II when Italian and German forces held the island from 1941 to 44. They bombed the town of Corfu and deported nearly the entire Jewish community. Corfu has a central religious figure, which is Saint Spiridon, a 4th century shepherd turned bishop, whose relics were brought to the island in 1453, after Constantinople was taken over by the Turks. His body remains in the old town and is credited by tradition with saving the island from plague and from the 1716 Ottoman siege. The church is one of the major pilgrimage sites for Orthodox Christians worldwide, fitting for an island that, having never fallen to the Turkish rule, preserved an unbroken Orthodox Christian identity throughout the Latin occupations. In 2007, the old town of Corfu was designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site, recognized for its unique blend of Italian, French, and British architecture. So that's why it looks nothing like Greece. But it is beautiful. But for me, when you say, I want to go to Greece, where should I go? No, Corfu is not that. And then there is Patmos. The island of Patmos is one of the most important Christian pilgrimage sites in the world. It is traditionally where St. John the Evangelist received the visions recorded in the book of Revelation. The amazing cave of the Apocalypse is identified as the place where those visions were received, while the monastery of St. John the Theologian dominates the medieval settlement above it. Together, the monastery, cave, and surrounding town, Hora, form a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Patmos is incredible, really worth visiting, and think about the symbolism. Madonna, the woman behind Like a Prayer, the woman who spent her career playing with religious imagery, And now she's visiting the island associated with the apocalypse. That is the word that we use, by the way, in Greek for revelation, apocalypse, hence the word apocalypse. You call the book Revelation, but you also use the word apocalypse from Greek. Madonna also posted about Patmos, prayers from Patmos. What a magical island. I really felt the presence of God there. The first time I went to Greece, I was 7 months pregnant with Rocco. A full circle moment to take him there again as a man, to reconnect, to remember, good for the soul, and to mention also her amazing new song, Good for the Soul. Let down your hair and breathe in me, good for the soul. So we have revelation, judgment, death, resurrection. Those themes aren't foreign to Madonna at all. In fact, reinvention through symbolic death and rebirth is one of the defining patterns of her career. And then came another amazing religious stop. Madonna visited Meteora. Meteor, that's where the word comes from, meaning suspended, practically, because we have some rocks in a valley with monasteries on the top, so people thought they looked like they were suspending from the sky. And she went to the monastery of Varlam. The visit took place around the feast of the Dormition of the Virgin Mary, the Dormition of Virgin Mary, I made an episode about just before this one. Meteora is not simply a spectacular landscape, it is one of the great centers of Orthodox monasticism and a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Hermits began living around these rocks centuries ago, and monasteries were eventually built on top of them. The whole idea is withdrawal from the ordinary world, and the contrast with Madonna is extraordinary in this case. The monks reject fame. Madonna became one of the most famous people on earth. The monks renounce material possessions, supposedly anyway. Madonna once called herself the material girl, which was supposed to be sarcastic, okay, but it's a song that I personally hate, to be honest. And that's why, by the way, in my list, which has the best songs of Madonna, which you could find on Spotify, I haven't included that song. And the timing actually makes it even more interesting. The Meteora visit, as we said, came around August 15th, the Dormition of the Virgin Mary. Her very stage name is Madonna, Virgin Mary. And Marian imagery has appeared repeatedly throughout her career. So now she is in Greece, entering an Orthodox monastery at the time of one of the most important celebrations of Virgin Mary. Madonna has always been a religious magpie. Catholicism, Kabbalah, Hinduism, Buddhism, yoga, mysticism. After all that spirituality, Madonna went back to the party. She celebrated in a village where there was traditional Greek food, choir, music, and eventually absorbed by the Greek. People danced, plates were broken, and there was something almost perfect about that ending because Greece has this ability to put the sacred and the ordinary next to each other. Church, feast, food, wine, music, dance. The religious festival becomes a celebration of life. And then there's Confessions 2, Madonna's latest album. Confession is a deeply Catholic concept. The original incredible Confessions on a Dance Floor came out in 2005. 21 years later, she has returned with another confession, and it debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200. It was Madonna's 10th #1 album and gave her a remarkable chart record. She has now reached #1 in the 80s, zeros, 2010s, and 2020s. I'm not sure how you call those decades, but no #1 in the 90s. Boo, Americans. Not even Ray of Light, you weirdos. What is the matter with you people? The opening for the album was enormous. 134,000 equivalent album units. The problem is sustaining that momentum with the casual streaming audience. And that is why the album's chart decline is so interesting. The wider audience didn't continue consuming the album at anything like the same level. Her album spent only 1 week in the top 10. So Madonna can still make history, but sustaining a mainstream album in the streaming era is a different challenge, as opposed to so many young artists that I've never heard of in my life who easily stay in the top 10 for weeks and at the number one spot even, not to mention their singles. Only one of Madonna's new songs entered the Hot 100, and probably because Sabrina Carpenter was in it. Just number 74. What are you people doing in the United States? Last time she entered the top 10, and at number 10 only, was in 2012, 14 years ago. I think maybe a collaboration with Taylor Swift would have been better. And I think it's kind of lame that Madonna would even need any younger artist to actually sustain her. She has done it before with Britney Spears, but I don't think she needed it back then. And the song also was horrible, and that's why it's not on my list either. So Madonna isn't suddenly irrelevant. She can still get a number one album. She received 11 MTV VMA nominations this year, more than any other artist and more than Taylor Swift. But the culture around her has changed. In the 80s and 90s, Madonna didn't have to convince people to pay attention. She was the attention. Today, attention is fragmented. Streaming has changed what makes an album successful. And there's one important piece of Madonna's Greek history. She has been to Greece before, but she has performed here only once. September 19, 2009. Madonna brought her massive Stick and Sweet tour to Athens, performing in front of around 75 to 80,000 people. And I was there too. I'm not going to say I loved it. I don't think that Hard Candy was the best thing ever, but okay. It was the only time ever, and I don't think she's coming back. The first time, Greece was her audience. This time, Greece is the destination. Patmos gives her the apocalypse, Meteora gives her the monastery, Corfu gives her the celebration, and Confessions too gives her another confession, another reinvention, another Madonna. Because perhaps that's the one constant in her career. The old Madonna dies, and another one appears. Again, and again, and again. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and share. Until next time, this is Onoufiros Dovletis signing off from Not Another Greek History Podcast.